Yo. You guys are somehow more autistic than I am. It's crazy. That's saying something. A lot of people worried about my ad revenue. Guys, I don't be monetizing this channel. I don't give a shit. I do this YouTube stuff just for you guys. I do not care about making money from YouTube. All right, so I'm gonna take a moment here. We'll catch up with chat, and then we'll get into some stuff. Welcome, everybody. Study John Williams. It's gotta be my favorite composer of all time. Go look him up and look at his body of work and you will shit your pants. That guy has made the score for like so many iconic movies. What am I reading right now? I'm long with my grandma's money. If I lose, she will divorce me. Seek God. Ask for forgiveness. What's up, Bahamas? Damn, Troy saying the real thing. Sup, Mag? Hope all is well in your non-trading world. What a legend. Yeah, I'm good. I'm big at chillin'. Hit a couple of PRs last week. Happy about that. I think I'm about to enter into a cut stage, but we will see. Yeah, we're not going to talk about world wars and what have you. 170 viewers and 36 likes. Unacceptable. Yeah, Thizzcake spitting facts. If you guys could press that like button, hopefully that will slightly override the fact that Disney is going to shadow ban me for playing John Williams music. It's kind of wild that it's not their music. They just like own the rights to it, but they did not make it. Fuck, I mean, Disney hasn't even owned the Star Wars rights until, like, what, a few years ago. If I get shadow banned for playing that music, I'm gonna be pissed. So press that like button so I don't get shadow banned. For real. Alright, I'm gonna just spend another minute or two catching up with chat, and then we'll get serious with it. Yeah, all the F13 filings or whatever. Yeah, you guys are 13 years old. Gym rat? A little bit. Congrats on benching the bar. Yeah, guys, I finally got my first rep of the bar. Feeling huge. 100 likes in hot tub stream? Nah. 500 likes and we do a hot tub stream. I could just say random things like this because I know you guys don't have the power to do it. Get me to 60,000 followers on Twitter and I'll do get one of those vlog or those VTuber things and then do a hot tub stream as a blepe. I know you guys are not capable. Do you have a spotter? Yeah, of course. I have a few different people I go to the gym with. I don't really gym that much though, because I have a home gym, but when I do go to the gym, it's normally with 1 or 2 people. I have a friend who's a personal trainer, and then I also go with my cousin sometimes. Blepe suit would be easier. Psych. Bro, there's bound to be one autist in here that will rise to that challenge. Rest in peace. Like, I want that to happen. I could just simply not do it. Alright, guys. So instead of sitting here interacting with chat, that's what I would prefer to do because it's way more fun for me, but that's not why the people show up. So let me go ahead and get serious with it for a minute. We're going to do pretty standard topics today, but the one that is a little bit uncommon is I'm going to do a little bit of a history lesson about some of the larger sell-offs that we've experienced in the market in the past. I'm only going to go over the ones that I've been around for, so I'm not going to go over anything before 2016. But yeah, so we'll start with the macro outlook, and then we will get into maybe some history here and there, do some medium time frame, talk about flows, and then we'll end up with shitcoins. I would ask that you guys try to keep your questions relevant to the topic that I'm on in the current moment, meaning please don't spam altcoin tickers when I am talking about Bitcoin. So hopefully everyone's doing well. I know that we've definitely seen some pain here, and I'm not gonna LARP I'm not getting crushed or anything by this, but definitely seeing some pretty substantial portfolio drawdown over the past several days. So I'm right there with you in that regard. I think that maybe the difference is that I'm not sitting in leverage trades getting liquidated and stuff that I know. I don't think too many of my viewers are in that boat, but I'm sure across the Twitter sphere, there's a lot of people that are really just being retardio, I guess, is the only way to put it. If you really thought some guy coming out on Twitter tweeting was a reason for you to be able to go and 75x long and make, insane money, you need to get your brain checked. So, yeah, we'll catch up with chat here for a second, make sure there's nothing important, and then I'm going to ignore chat for a moment. Is the mic low? Yeah, I don't think so, bro. I didn't change any of my settings from previous. No fitness talk. Let's talk about geopolitics. All right, so I'm going to ignore chat for a minute. We'll get into some macro Bitcoin, and then we will see where we go from there. Okay, so obviously we've just endured a pretty nasty sell-off. It's pretty wild, this distinction between what happened with Bitcoin and what happened with altcoins. Significant majority of altcoins got absolutely fucking obliterated by this sell-off, which just kind of speaks to their overall weakness in general. Bitcoin itself, though, really doesn't look that bad. So I'm still macro bullish on Bitcoin. I think that you need to be prepared for it to not be an easy road for us to return back to being bullish again. I think that you're going to continue to get pressured, whether that is with prices going down or sideways chop. I didn't expect it to play out to this extent, but I have had the thesis for like a month and a half now, maybe a little bit longer than that, of the boring summer, aka chop people the fuck up, make people flip-flop back and forth, make people capitulate on the trend, make people get bearish, etc. That's been my overall thesis on like higher time frame. If you look at historical summer periods when we've been in uptrends, that's pretty much the way it's played out every time, where you're in an uptrend, you get to the summertime and the market just chops people the fuck up and generally enters into a low volatility regime. So I think that was probably the climax of volatility that we're going to get for the summer, and that it's going to enter into a lower and lower volatility regime until we get towards Q3, where I think volatility will probably come back, and Q3 is probably where we actually start to trend again. So I really think it is as simple as you need to survive the summer. And as long as you're not in a position where you're sweating every day, which is the goal for, definitely how I view things, you should be trying to position so that you're not sitting here sweating every day and shitting your pants. Take some time off. So this weekend, I'm going to go on a vacation, and then probably do another vacation or two in May. I'm going to be trying to just relax and get a little bit of a mental reset going, get my stamina back, because I do still have really high conviction that once we get into Q3, that's when the trend is probably going to start to resume, and we'll probably have a pretty wild, I don't want to say blow off top Q4, but I think that we're going to have a pretty nutty Q4 similar to what we had last quarter. I think that Q4 of this year will probably either resemble Q4 of last year or Q1 of this year, some combination of, of the two. And then it might be over at that point. So that really is it. To give some guidance for how you should be controlling the risk, I think that as long as Bitcoin holds over 60K, that things are fine. I think that probably how this plays out now, and I'll cover this in more detail when we get to the medium time frame section, because I already have it drawn out. But I think essentially it looks like we're gonna sweep these lows at this point, right? This isn't. If you look at this on medium time frame, it doesn't really look like a healthy bottoming structure. If there was to be a bottoming structure, it was going to be around here, and it didn't form. So I think that we're gonna probably trade lower. So be prepared for more blood, guys. I think that what's going to happen, the most bullish scenario is us trading through this and then reclaiming it. So I think that that's probably what's going to happen on Bitcoin at this point. If we don't bounce from down here, as in take out these lows and then bounce, then you need to be prepared for lower, right? I'm not sitting here really worried about this, but it is always a possibility. I do really think that the highest probability is us sweeping these lows and then just coming back into the range and continuing to chop people up and compress. It is a possibility though that we lose this region and then we trade down, and you're going to see people calling for 50K and different things like that. I really think that if we lose 60K, that a lot of these upper supports aren't really going to matter that much, and that means we'd probably be trading all the way down towards 45K. Again, I really don't give a super high weighting to this. I think that it's probably not that high of a chance that we trade down here, but it is in the realm of possibilities. So that's pretty much it for macro, right? Overall, I'm still bullish. I think that we are going to resolve upwards. I think that we probably enter into a low volatility regime and just continue to build out this range and chop people up. Pressure people's positioning, pressure people's conviction, and I'm gonna be reducing my activity probably over the summertime. When I am trading, it's gonna be trading perps and trading them very aggressively. I'm not trying to trade any momentum anytime soon. I will be just very, very aggressive about profit taking. That's been how I've been playing it for the past month or so, and that's how I'll continue to play the perps over the next month or two from now. The only other thing to maybe touch on is that if we do kind of trade up towards the range high kind of region that, and it's still in the summertime. So the timing for this is really the most important piece. So let's say, you know, it's mid-April right now. Let's say by the near the end of April, we're back up here in like the 69, 70K region. I think that is probably a pretty good area where you want to be hedging out your stack. So if you're not already like risk off from a hedge standpoint, that's probably like the logical area to do it. The key with that is going to be when that happens, right? So if we don't trade back up here until like June or something like that, then you don't want to be, I don't think you want to be hedging if it's June, just because we're getting too close to the transition in quarters at that point, right? So that's more or less how I'm viewing things right now. Yeah, I mean, there isn't really too much else to cover, right? I think that we're going to chop people up. I think that you should be prepared for a little bit more blood, but I also really don't think, and I said this in my outlook that I posted yesterday, I really don't think that that the news is going to lead to that much more sell pressure. I think that we probably already hit that kind of climax from selling. Obviously, the one thing to pay attention to is less about the news and more so about what the S&P and the NAS are doing. I'm not one that really cares that much about paying attention to them, but in moments like now where Bitcoin doesn't have any momentum, and it's in whenever it's in a stage like this, the boomer indexes are going to have a much larger impact on price movement, right? So if they puke, Bitcoin's going to puke. It really is that simple. So that's pretty much it for the macro rundown. Check chat to make sure that there's no questions pertaining to that, and then we'll probably get into the Nuke history lesson, because I think that that's an important one to talk about. Quick little water break. All right, let's see, what are the chatters chatting? Tensor thoughts? Yes, I mean, I wasn't really interested in talking about altcoins yet, but yeah, I'm still have high conviction in Tensor. I haven't added anything from my initial airdrop, but I am for sure gonna be buying that up, but I'll talk about that when we get to the altcoin section. Survive summer equals go touch grass unironically. Yeah, I mean, that's generally how things kind of work out. You really could just like turn your brain off and go 60 IQ and say, all the big boys want to go enjoy their summer, so you should do the same. I really have actually had some decent edges in the past from that kind of logic of, oh, it's the beginning of the year, the big boys want to make money, so there's going to be volatility. Okay, it's the summertime, so they're going to want to go take vacation. Okay, it's the end of the year, so they're going to want to make money, right? I think you really want to view things that way. What if it's all sand where you live? How do you touch grass? Some questions can't be answered. Bet on Mag, sticking to the agenda. Gotta be tough with the monkey brain chat. It is what it is. We've been doing this for a long time. It's pretty easy to stick to the topics. Hopefully no 52K, 59 sweep and chop from here. That's what I'm hoping for, but there's no guarantee of anything in life. 200 people need more likes. We were spitting. 220 of you in here, 86 likes. Press that like button for me. Help me avoid getting shadow banned by the evil Disney corporate overlords. Bitcoin dom before alts. I don't do Bitcoin dom. I don't do Bitcoin dominance charts. I mean, maybe I'll humor you and look at it when we get there. All right, we're already spamming for fucking retard tickers. Question: say you held your alts through this, hate to dump here, happy to hold and chill for a few months, time to panic sell was either, yeah. So I mean, it's that kind of quote from Margin Call where John Thud, the CEO of the corporation. I don't remember his exact quote, but essentially, like, you know, you want to sell first or don't sell at all kind of lesson. So that's really important. You know, moving forward, you don't really, if you're still holding alts and things aren't looking good for you, you don't really have a lot of good options for what you can do. You can panic sell and avoid short-term drawdown, but in the longer term, you'll probably regret that. Or you can hedge it out, or you can just do nothing and pray. There isn't really a good option for you, though, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that is the way it is. I guess the one thing I could share that is important is that you should be asking yourself, are your bets actually good or not, right? If you have like strong bets, basically if your bets are on RWA, memes, or AI, particularly RWA and memes are my favorites. If you're betting on these like strong narratives, then you're probably going to be okay. If you're betting on GameFi, if you're betting on like other random narratives and stuff, then you're going to get smacked. So that is one of the main things you should be asking. You check charts or alerts when on holiday. I find it hard to disconnect sometimes. I do a little bit, but nowhere near to the extent that I do when I'm actually like at home and trading and stuff. Whenever I go on vacation, it's not like I'm going with myself, right? So I'm either going to be doing things with friends or things with family. So one of the ways that I disconnect is I always kind of frame it from that mindset, right? Like, if you go on vacation with your friends, like, do you really want to be the guy that is like sitting there fucking like being a nerd and like checking charts and shit? Like, no, you need to live in the moment. So I basically would say I kind of bully myself into disconnecting because I don't want to be the guy that is like in work mode or whatever when the boys are trying to have fun. I don't want to be that guy. Hopefully that helps, though. I mean, I really just think the longer you trade, the more easy it is for you to disconnect. I kind of always think back to the quote from the first Godfather, where they talk about how, you don't talk about business at the dinner table in front of family. I think that's kind of how you should view things. You want to try your best to separate those two concepts. That shadow ban you caught on here and Twitter was bad, man. I thought you were deleted for sure. I never got shadow banned on YouTube. Some people were telling me I got shadow banned on Twitter, but I never like experienced anything that would indicate that. My engagement stayed the same, and every time I would look myself up on this shadow ban search, I never saw anything. So I don't know why everyone was saying that. But yeah, I mean, I've said some reckless stuff on Twitter, so that's why. I've said some wild things that the Twitter overlords don't like. Two minutes of telling us how you survived or recovered your first 2 nukes. Yeah, we're gonna get to there once I finish up with the next conversation is gonna be about history lessons, covering the previous giga nukes in the market. We just catch up with chat first. Biggest bets are cum swap and Doge with cock. Doge with a cock that's actually a fucking good ticker. I'm not even gonna lie. Does vacation mean you're playing Cataclysm Classic? I'm not gonna be playing Cata. I'm not. I only really play WoW socially with like some of my trader friends, but yeah, I have zero motivation to do things like play WoW, to be honest. Not saying I'm not a nerd, but when I play a video game, I want to either play a casual game with the boys or play Counter-Strike. Went to Austin with the boys, and one of them played League of Legends 75% of the time on his laptop in the hotel room. What? Yeah, that's bad right there. Like, you never be that guy. Live in the moment. I was about to go to some exotic places, but I got licked. It'd be like that. What's your highest conviction RWA play? ONDO and DUSK. Those are the only two that I own. Forgot the weekly shout out to my unemployed brothers and sisters in the chat. Do you think there's a possibility that select alts perform well this summer? Yes, but I would say very, very select, right? So you're talking about sub 1% of alts doing well. Cryptoski always shilling me on LCX. It's probably gonna go up 10,000x, and I'm gonna not ever look at the chart. All right, guys. Let's do a little Nuke history lesson. So I do this kind of stuff in the Paragram group all the time. I genuinely enjoy these kind of conversations. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about some of the like big sell-off events that I've experienced over the years. And it's not like I'm going to sit here and tell you the fucking cheat codes, press X right, square triangle, and you don't lose money. But well, it's just more or less like what was going on kind of conversation. Because I know not everybody in the chat today has been here this long, so yeah, let's cover some stuff. So starting from where I started off, I bought my first Ether in 2016. Well, first like stack of Ether in 2016, and I honestly was too stupid to like even notice any of these kind of sell-offs that happened. I worked a full-time job back then, and I didn't even like pay that much attention to be honest to like really recognize when these sell-offs were coming. I think the first big sell-off that I can really remember vividly, because I was kind of actively trading, was the 6K nuke. Obviously, like, this one was pretty bad. I remember like this is where my portfolio got like obliterated, but I was so stupid back then that it didn't really I didn't think about things even remotely similarly to how I do now. So I honestly just didn't even care. I was just like, oh, it's going to go back up again eventually. So why would I even care, right? As we got into this kind of regime is where I started like actively trading on Bitcoin perps. And this was, I talk about this move all the time. So this nuke was kind of a big deal. There was a really long time where 6K was turbo support. And as you can kind of see, it like did the classic kind of meme triangle into support, which is, pretty likely to break, right? You can see the supply is shifting down, demand is staying the same. Eventually, demand is going to lose in that fight. And that's what happened. So this was a really bad day for me. I lost a huge amount of money on this because I was leveraged long on Bitcoin, and then, it went down a lot. Almost 50%. So I was able to manually stop myself out on my phone at work. This is when I had a corporate job. And I lost a huge amount though. I lost 8 Bitcoin, or a little bit over 8 Bitcoin on this nuke on my BEAMX account. And that was an enormous amount of money for me back then, right? I know Bitcoin wasn't like, the kind of valuation it was or is now. But it was a huge amount of money for me back then to lose that many Bitcoin. So this is pretty soul crushing. And this is the first period where I pseudo checked out of the market. I didn't like capitulate on my spot or anything like that. I actually did buy more spot in here, but I mentally checked out, where this was the first time, and this is the first and only time in my entire crypto experience where I didn't pay attention to Twitter every day, didn't read things and try to stay caught up all the time. I basically mentally checked out and just like DCA'd more Bitcoin. And then, the echo bubble came, and, it was all sunshine and rainbows, and we're back. And then we went into the kind of the classic, for those of you that have been around, we called this the Hasaka bleed. It was this kind of basic structure where you would have an impulse up, you would break down from there and kind of retest the previous range. So, it would look like this, where you would have a previous range, you would retest the previous range and then continue the downward structure. And you would do that over and over again. So that's what this period was, which was, you know, pretty serious pain. This was the Z candle day where I don't even remember what China said, but China said something bullish about Bitcoin and we pumped like 50% in a day, which went right back into this Osaka bleed approach. From there, we built up this like range over, you know, the end of 2020. And this is the first like really catastrophic event. And this is the main reason why we even wanted to talk about these nukes, was because this was, I know it doesn't look that bad when you zoom out in the chart, but this was such a bad event. The kind of event that we might not ever see anything like this ever again. This was really hard to deal with. I lost about 60 to 70% of my money in one day. And this was just a catastrophic situation. So when people are talking about like this move being like the end of the world and being like such a massive nuke, fucking amateurs, right? I know it doesn't look that bad, but Bitcoin going down 60% in basically, you know, a couple of days, and a huge portion of the move was during like, you know, less than 24 hours. So basically what happened was that, you know, I mean, we just hit a little cycle rotation top, but there was a situation where there was a lot of people that were really over leveraged. I don't even remember the names of the protocols because they're gone, but there was a bunch of like lending protocols that had massive liquidation events. So the thesis for me, and this is why I lost so much money, was I hedged out somewhere over here on the Bitcoin perp, and my plan was we're going to come back to the previous range high, which was this range, and I'm going to go turbo swing long again, and we're going to send, and I'm going to make money, right? Because this is right around the halving, right? I think the halving was like over here or something like that, right? So the halving had happened, and it's just like, all right, the trend looks like it's going to resume. I'm going to buy the dip, and then I'm going to make generational money off of the halving play, right? Well, it didn't work out that way, because let me see if I can look at this on lower time frame for the boys. Holy shit, what are these fucking old ass levels? Yeah, so you could see that my charting used to be absolutely vile. These are boomer ass levels. All right, so this was the 7K kind of area, and this is where I wanted to buy. But what happened is that once the selling started to come through here, it was just absolutely relentless down move. There was zero bid pressure at all, or bid support. It was just sellers, you know, basically stampeding one another to sell first. And there was zero demand to buy. So we'll go back to the higher time frame really quickly. This was just such a crazy event because the liquidation cascade that was taking place, where it was these massive like $10 million liquidations, which back then was a huge amount. Nowadays you see a 10 mil lick every day, right? But back then you didn't see that kind of you know, those kind of liquidations. So this cascade was just people stopping other people out, stopping more people out. And I remember that there was a pretty large BitMEX trader who got liquidated on 2x leverage. So that's how brutal this was, that he got liquidated on 2x, right? Which is basically, you know, almost impossible to get liquidated on that low of leverage. And I remember he lost like 2,000 Bitcoin on that. So the main reason why people really remember this was the speed at which this sell-off took place. It gave you zero chance to make a decision, to react or anything. You just were stuck, right? You were just stuck watching your portfolio just fall apart. So like I said, I lost somewhere between 60 to 70% of my money on this. And one of the iconic screenshots that maybe some of you guys have seen that have been around a while was the 20 million left on the bid. So when Bitcoin was around like the 3K region, so once Bitcoin got into like the upper fours, lower fours, upper 3K region, when you looked at the order book on BitMEX, which BitMEX was the king exchange back then, from $3,000 to zero, there was only $20 million left in the order book. which 20 million close to the spread back then maybe would have been a lot of money, but 20 million from $3,000 to zero was not a lot of money. So that's when BEAMX pulled the circuit breaker, right? Circuit breakers don't exist in crypto. That's a stock market thing only. But that's when like BEAMX made up their own by claiming that they were getting DDoSed. They shut down their exchange, and there was just no more selling happening anymore because of that. And as soon as they turned on their exchange, some of the wildest shit happened where the bid just came back and there was just all this insane demand coming in. And the kind of experience that, you know, so we went through this like the worst sell-off in history, and then the separation between the markets after that was absolutely insane, where spot markets were trading so far ahead of perps. I'm talking, you know, the perp would be at like 4K, and the spot market would be all the way at like 5. Holy. Yes, I know I can't fucking write with my right hand. That's separation in price. Just do the mathematics. That is a huge separation in price. So basically, during these earlier stages, like buying shit on the perps, you know, was probably the freest money that crypto people have ever experienced, because you couldn't get liquidated. So that was the one moment where I actually ever used excessive leverage in my life. And no, I didn't recoup my losses by any means. That was my attempt. I made some money off of the recovery, but I didn't recoup anything super crazy. So this March 2020, it was March 13th, or maybe it wasn't. This is saying March 10th, but we're on the 3-day. It was March 13th of 2020. It was the worst sell-off that the market's ever experienced. And if you weren't around for that, then you could just never really comprehend how earth-shattering it was. This is the only moment ever where I genuinely was worried that it was over. I really was worried that, you know, you guys want to know the cherry on top of it all? I quit my job right here to go full time. And then this happened, and I'm sitting here wondering, did I just make the biggest mistake in my entire life? It was really, really fucking scary, not gonna lie. So I did get a little bit of PTSD that I had to recover from in this kind of stages. That's where I had to really overcome my PTSD. I'm very, very fortunate that I didn't let it hold me back for a long period of time. Some people would hold them back forever. Just a couple of months, and I was able to work my way through it and kind of recover and go back to being an idiot again. But yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna catch up with chat, and then we'll talk about May, and then yeah, I mean, I don't know, do we even really need to talk about the one that just happened? I think that May is the only other one that's really worth talking about. Maybe December 2021. I see tickers in the chat. You guys are retardio. Thank you guys. Thank you. Cool. So no direct comments to that. Hopefully you guys found that interesting and maybe pseudo educational. But yeah, I mean, I really would just drive home the point that it's actually not that likely that we'll ever see an event like that again. It is possible, right? Because everything's possible. But this was a true black swan event. When you look at it in the context of where we were at back then too, you can kind of see the magnitude. If you compare it to current price action, it seems like it's not a big deal at all. But for me, you know, it was a big deal for two reasons. One, I mean, anybody that was around here, it fucked you up big time mentally. But the fact that I quit my job like 3 weeks before that, it was really fucking scary for me. And I'm really appreciative and thankful that I was able to kind of bounce back from it and not let that, because like it would have been very easy for me to say, oh shit, like I screwed up it's time to go back and get my old job back, right? That totally could have happened. And I'm very, very happy that I didn't do that. I was able to recover and, you know, grow from it. But yeah, I mean, it just was... Anybody that was around back then will more or less say the same thing, that it was an insane event that was really fucking hard to make it through. And it's really, I can't even put in, like, I can't even use words to describe how wild it was, because the kind of other things that we've had in the markets just don't amount to it at all. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a rundown on the May one, and then we'll get more serious and go back to plans and shit. I lost everything in May 2021. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to diminish from May 2021 and say it wasn't bad. I know that a lot of people lost money. I lost a lot of money on this nuke too, but I mean, this one was just, the way it happened, it was just so much worse than any of the other events that we've ever had. You probably will never see an event like that again where there was no buyers. All the buyers just said, fuck it, we're out of here. There was no buyers, there was only sellers in the market. Which I know that you probably feel like that's what these events were, but they're not. Remember sitting at my old TradFi job watching my portfolio get in half. Same. Except I was sitting there at my trading desk at home watching all my money disappear. Abracadabra. Were you actively trading in that period? I didn't really day trade or do lower time frame trading as much in that period. I was much more of a higher time frame trader because I had just pivoted from, you needed if you have a job, you're not going to be a fucking scalper, right? So I traded more of a momentum kind of swing trade approach back then, only because that's what I needed to do in order to, because I had a job back then, right? So I had to trade that way. So yeah, I was much more in a portfolio and swing trade management stage. Those holding spot were good though, right? I'm not going to lie to you, no, right? If you were holding spot during this, you were genuinely wondering, is my entire portfolio about to go to zero? And the honest answer is that Bitcoin basically, people don't realize, that's maybe the other thing I should maybe add to this. Bitcoin did go to zero. People just don't realize it, right? The number itself didn't go to zero, but the fact that there was such little bid support in the book, if somebody went on BEAMX and sold $20 million worth of Bitcoin, which is not that crazy, especially with how much volume was going through that day, Bitcoin literally would have went to zero. So that's why Arthur turned the exchange off, because he knew that it was just a matter of time before somebody took that bid liquidity and sold through them, and Bitcoin would have went to zero. And if Bitcoin went to zero, it would probably not recover from that ever. Yes, the price would have gone up, but I mean, think about what happens to Luna, for example, or something, right? When Luna crashed and went to zero, it probably had moments where it bounced during that period, but it never came back and meant anything ever again. So if Bitcoin didn't get saved by BEAMX, Bitcoin probably wouldn't be what it is today. It would probably be a forgotten thing that all the boomers would be saying, "I told you so" on. After you quit your job, you quit to go full-time day trading? Yes, that was my plan, was to trade low time frame and stuff. But I kind of realized I didn't actually have as much experience with that stuff as I thought, so I had to work really fucking hard to figure that kind of shit out. Did you have bad risk management during that time when you lost that much money? No. I really don't think I did, right? What happened was I was hedged, and my plan was to unhedge here and go long at 7K. And that's what I did. I unhedged, So my portfolio went to being spot long again, and I opened up a Bitcoin leverage long as well. That was my plan. I followed it, but the way that, you know, it didn't come into this area and give us time to fuck around. It like came into this area and just instantly nuked through it. So I just didn't really have time. Normally you have time to react. I didn't really have time. So yeah, I mean, I made mistakes, as in maybe I should have never closed out my hedge, but I was just following my plan, and my plan got me obliterated. All right, a lot of questions coming in. Who got you into trading? That's an interesting question. Me. I don't think that there is any specific person or anything like that. I started trading equities on my own just because I realized that like I needed money. You know, I had a corporate job, and I kind of recognized that there was no way for me to amass any amount of money working a day-to-day job. So I started getting into like investing, and then from there trading. I really don't know what triggered me to do that specifically, other than the fact that I wanted to be rich. Is intraday trading best during low vol in Q2? Yes, I would definitely say so. How do you deal with those losses psychologically? You need to, it's a lot of self-reflection and asking yourself if you really want this. I think that that's probably something that I focused in on. Like, do I really believe that this market's going to amount to something long-term? Is being a trader something I really want? And I think that some of the decisions I made basically made it so I had to find success. And that's one of the conversations I have with my dad sometimes, when he, in the past, would kind of question my decision making. And it's like the guy that goes and gets a face tattoo and then says, I have to be a professional athlete, or I have to be a musician or something now because I have a face tat. I basically quit my job and kind of burned the bridge. So I had to figure out how to make this stuff work. So, I mean, that definitely played a role in it. The psychology stuff, I mean, I've put out a lot of psychology content. So, you know, off the top of my head, I mean, it really, mostly all that stuff is going to come down to self-reflection and looking inward, you know, practicing proper introspection and mindfulness. Too many of us live our lives on autopilot and don't really stop and look inward and think, why am I thinking the way I am? So I really think that most of it's like a combination of being motivated and driven and practicing actual introspection and mindfulness. I think that's really what it comes down to. You raise awareness about unified trading systems. I mean, don't use cross leverage for the most part, since, like, you know, most of you guys are, if you don't understand leverage, just don't use it at all, to be honest, right? Most of you guys should probably be using isolated leverage so that just the trading position gets liquidated and not your entire account. I use cross, but it's because I feel confident that I'm not structuring my risk in a stupid way where my account's going to get blown out. I've already been through those stages, so. Did you know that in 2019 the big green candle came from actual advice BTC? I didn't really ever know him or anything, so I can't really speak too much to that. Obviously sad to see that somebody, you know, passed away that was young, but I can't speak much to it. keeping it 100, not many people will be that transparent. It might be a lot of things, but I'll always here to keep it real. I think that the people that are really image focused and are not really saying things in an honest way, I mean, they're just doing a big disservice to people. It's like kind of one of the reasons why I don't P&L flex and stuff. It's not really going to do anybody any good to hear me say that I made X amount in a day, because it's not realistic for you to do the same. And if you chase that, you're just going to lose your money. So yeah, I mean, I'm always going to try to keep it real and guide people in the best way that I can kind of come up with. Bashing my face tat? Yeah, it's over for you, Nikki. What's up, Reg? How'd you figure it all out? Chart time mentorship from Sting. So yeah, I mean, combination of being, I mean, the drive and motivation that I had in the earlier days. I mean, people that are around me a lot still probably see that, because I'm pretty consistent with everything I do, and I'm very structured and organized for the most part. I know that I seem pretty casual a lot of the time and I'm joking around, but the people like in the group, for example, they see that I'm very, very structured and organized. So I just had enormous motivation and basically kind of told myself I have to figure it out. So I'm not trying to take anything away from the people that helped me, but it doesn't matter how much people help you or guide you. You still have to do it yourself. So yeah, it's a combination of being super motivated and then getting some proper guidance from, like, you know, Tommy and Sting are the people that I attribute having helped me the most. Sting helped me from more of a framework kind of a mindset, and Tommy helped me a lot with the psychological stuff. So I was very fortunate that I was able to make friends that were more experienced than myself and glean insights from them over time. If you were only swing trading at work, what was your experience with scalping at the time when you quit your job? Did you have to learn intraday trading to bail yourself out? Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think I've said this a few times before, but I didn't really do any lower time frame trading back then, but I thought I knew my shit, which was a very big awakening for me, that even though I had systems built out and all these kind of things, I didn't have as much screen time doing that stuff. So I was actually a lot worse at the intraday stuff than I thought I was going to be. And I just worked really hard to figure it out. Yeah, I really think that that's pretty much all I could say. I think that I always attribute a lot of this stuff to being lucky. I just think that I've always been a lucky person in life. It's not to take away from the fact that I also know that I did work hard, but it doesn't really matter how hard you work or how gifted you are. A lot of this stuff does come down to being lucky. And I think it's important that you guys just kind of accept that as early as possible. Cross leverage makes me feel alive. Yeah, I mean, I only use cross, but that's because I don't really use high leverage, so it's not something that I'm really needing to be worried about. Role model for discipline. Thank you, Lear. Honestly, you're a role model for me for discipline, because I don't see that many people that work hard like you do. A lot of people get given opportunities and then they squander them. I would say that the significant majority of people that I've given opportunities in my time in this space have definitely squandered them and kind of disrespected it. How much time did it take for you to get good at trading? Well, it kind of depends on how you want to define that. I mean, I've been trading for over 8 years now, and I probably would say that I still have a lot to learn. So I don't know how to answer that question properly, because the idea of being good is kind of all relative. I'm every bit of time, every 6 months, or whatever time segment you want to use, I know I'm getting better than I was previously, but I still like look back at myself 2 years ago and think I was kind of stupid. So there isn't really a concrete answer to a question like that, because I think I kind of know my stuff a little bit now, but I will certainly in another year from now look back and think that I was stupid. Are we in a bear market now? No, bro. You think the biggest obstacle for traders is the amount of time you put in, or is it the motivation and interest? The motivation and interest is, out of what you asked, motivation and interest is harder than time, because I think most people could realistically put a lot of time in. But what's harder than that is when things go poorly. When things go against your plans and against how you envisioned things working out, being able to power through that. It's just like, I always love using the sports athletes as an example, right? I mean, like, imagine you're a fighter or a professional tennis player or something, and you go out and you get beat down by another dude. How are you going to bounce back and motivate yourself to go out and do it again? It is just an inevitability that as a trader, that the market is going to beat you down from time to time. If you're lucky, it's only from time to time. For most people, it's like all the time, basically. So I think that that's the most important obstacle, is like when things go poorly for you, how do you recover from it and how do you keep moving forward? Which is like, really just comes down to finding yourself and that introspection that we were talking about earlier. How much of your success would you attribute to active trading versus holding long-term projects and waiting for them to explode? So I would reword your question a little bit from holding long-term projects and waiting for them, because I don't really do that. I do much more of a like narrative momentum style of long-term trading. So to reword that question, how much of your success would you attribute to active trading versus like long-term narrative betting? Definitely the latter is where most of my money came from. If I think back, having conviction in ETH in the beginning was big. Having conviction in Chainlink was big. Having conviction in DeFi. A lot of those kind of plays where I just like bought a shitload of spot from a narrative and just like waited, that absolutely is grossly outperforming any of my lower time frame stuff, right? Basically would word it like your lower time frame trading is like a day job where you can clock in and maybe take a little bit of money away. Hopefully you don't lose. Some days you will. But the higher time frame trading is where your like the wealth creation becomes actually realistic. It's very, very low probability that you're going to be a scalper or an intraday trader and become very wealthy from just that. It's very, very, very low probability. It's close to, that's a near zero kind of answer in my opinion. Don't downplay your preparation. Luck is where opportunity meets preparation. I think that the quote is success is when preparation and luck come together or something, but I do agree. The harder you work, the luckier you get. You're really asking me about Moon Carl, dude? It is what it is, Don't you find it concerning somebody will get so many followers or give people the wrong picture of trading? That's just how it goes. I mean, someone like myself is always going to have a smaller, influence, smaller following than the people that say, it's going to be easy, guys. You can just do step 1 and 2 or follow me and you'll make money, right? Those people are always going to be more successful from the branding and you know, engagement side of things, just because most people in life just want to hear that it's going to be easy, and people don't really want to come in here and listen to me say, hey, it's going to be hard, and a lot of you are honestly going to fail, you know. Nobody really wants to hear me say that. Not nobody, obviously, because some of you guys are here, but just from like if you look at the entire you know, population of our, you know, the human race, right? Most people don't want to hear that, right? It's very, very few and far between people are gonna be okay with hearing me say it's gonna be rough. What ethnicity are you? Bro, China. We got a Fed in the chat, boys. Fed. Wee woo. Who's the best shit poster, past or present, you've seen? Damn, that's a really good question. I don't really know off the top of my head. I mean, I've never considered myself to be anything special at it, if I'm being honest. I genuinely enjoy shit posting, and every now and then I'm like, okay, that was actually a good one, but, you know, my hit rate with shit posting is pretty low. I don't really know off the top of my head who I would say. I mean, Kobe historically was pretty fucking good at it. He obviously doesn't give a shit about it anymore. Some of Kobe's shit posting back in the day was pretty fucking incredible. I would need to like scroll through my following list and to give a proper answer on that. A lot of traders talk about their edge. Is it just time in the market to find your own? It's really hard. It's just like hard work and stuff, right? When people talk about edge, the reality is that most people are probably fucking LARPing pretty hard when they say that stuff. Most people don't really have that much edge. If they're, you know, if you really objectively look at what they're saying, most people don't really have any solid edge. When people like, what the definition of edge is just something that gives you favorable, you know, probabilities, helps you in weighting probabilities. So yeah, I mean, it really is just going to be hard work and time. I want some Uber shit posters on my feed. Kobe is the all-time great. Yeah, I mean, he's the first person that comes to mind for that. But there's definitely some other really good dudes out there for the shit posting. I can't think of all the names off the top of my head. No shot you think Ninja Scalp is the best shit poster of our time. You ninja on his alt account, bro. We got some philosophy up in here. Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe he's the first person that said that. Victor, absolute Chad. I like Victor, but I'm not gonna lie. He definitely lost. I actually said this to him the other day on Twitter, and I wasn't joking. Victor lost his shitposting edge. Victor was a very good shitposter a few years ago, and I think he's lost his edge a little bit with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to even bully him either, because I do like Victor. Trading Axe, yeah, definitely. Trading Axe is probably the guy right now. He's just so schizo and so retardio that it makes him very, very entertaining. All right, so I finally caught up with the chat. You guys have been going crazy with the fucking comments and stuff. I don't even know where we move on from here. We're an hour and 20 minutes into the stream. We're basically like a little bit over an hour because I did a really long warm-up. And I've mostly just read chat. That's pretty crazy. Hopefully you guys enjoy this type of stream where I'm basically just talking to you guys. Honestly, I would prefer this a lot of the time. Doing charts and shit is so fucking boring. I really don't know how streamers do that all the time. So I'll catch up with chat one more time because I see a flurry of comments just came in, and then I'm going to cover medium time frame. He's got a girlfriend, that's why. Holy shit, I'm going to DM Victor that and say for sure he lost his fucking edge because he got a girlfriend. He's not schizo anymore. You think we bounce soon? Yeah, I mean, basically, I think that at this point, we're probably going to trade in and sweep the lows. So if we trade down into like this 59K region, that would be an area where I would expect. I think that we should be able to get back up towards the range high, or at very least the mid range in the not so distant future. But you're just waiting for a bottoming formation to actually form, right? I know we've talked about this over. Ooh, that actually looks not terrible, right? The classic, you're looking for the classic momentum loss structuring, right? Where you, I mean, go and look at my thread I made the other week, but you want that kind of structuring, and then you want to see it start to round out, and then you can bet on going up. So this looks okay, but the reality is that I don't like that the fact that the drives are not very extreme. So this could be a local low, honestly, but I wouldn't bet on it personally. I like to see the drives be more extreme. But, I mean, I would pray, honestly. I would love to see reversion back up to the range high so I can adjust my risk profile. Am I wasting my time trying to get a career off intraday trading, given what you just said about long-term conviction plays versus day trading? I'm not saying the day trading stuff isn't useful. It's just like, I think that having a combination of the two is a really good idea. That's how I approach things. I don't just swing trade. I don't just intraday. I don't just scalp, right? I do a lot of these different approaches, and I try to turn them on and utilize them at key points when I think that they're the best approach. So it's just like how I talk about, you know, trading like a video game, adapt to the meta, etc., etc. Go read my thread on that shit. The lower time frame trading can give you a more stable income. That's where it's useful, right? Where you can say, okay, maybe I could, you know, I might lose today, I might win tomorrow, I might lose the following day, but like, oh, net, I can maybe make, you know, a little bit of money every week, or, you know, make a little bit of money every month from lower time frame trading. And it can be more like a job where you go in, you sit down, you clock in, you click some buttons, and hopefully you win more than you lose. But the wealth creation is going to come from the higher time frame stuff the majority of the time. So I think that you're not wasting your time building up that skill set, because it can give you a more stable income. Because the problem with the higher time frame stuff is you might go huge periods where you make no money. Over my career, there's been huge periods of time, several months at a time, where I didn't make any money from like long-term plays, right? Long-term plays don't always make you money. So I think that balancing out the two is pretty solid. No problem, Lunar. Have you ever traded using prop firms? No. I would say you guys should be pretty cautious with that kind of stuff. Most of those things are scams nowadays. A little while ago, maybe that was less true, but nowadays, more and more, most of the firms are pretty fucking scammy nowadays. Good. I'm happy that you guys enjoy the just chatting streams. I personally prefer this kind of stuff, so if you guys enjoy it too, then that's good, because I can lean into what I enjoy more. The charting and like, you know, saying I think we buy here stuff is not really fun for me. Therapy and girlfriends lower shitposting edge. No problem, Brock. I think the most important factor for success, at least for me, was not having any other option. The grow or die Magus talked about. Yeah, I mean, I kind of boxed myself in where I had to figure it out, or I was going to have a very dim future, basically. Thoughts on the modular ecosystem narrative? No fucking idea, I'm not gonna lie. The only things I'm interested in are memes, AI, RWA, Solana ecosystem, and Bitcoin ecosystem. Those are the narratives that I'm most focused on. I don't really pay too much attention to the other ones. Very, very fortunate that I don't really have to do that much research these days, because I just have friends that will show me on the new narrative. So I'm very, very lucky in that regard. Combine history lessons with how you do it or should have done it. Yeah. It's easier said than done, right? And I'm not trying to like fucking LARP and say, this is how you should do it. You should have done this and that, right? It's so easy to say that in hindsight, right? In the moment, it's not easy to do that or say that. Is MAG fully discretionary? Yes. I mean, so it's an interesting conversation, right? People talk about my system this, my system that. Most people are fucking full of shit when they talk about their systems. I define it as I have frameworks. So I have an idea of kind of, this is how I like to do things, and I call it frameworks. A system is 1 + 1 = 2, right? I see A, and then I see B, so I do C, right? That's a system. I don't really do that anymore. I used to kind of try to live my life that way, but I would say that I am a framework trader, and then all my decision making is discretionary. All right, we'll probably get into altcoins here because I know that the boys are asking for altcoins. My system this, my system that. All right, nerd. When people say that, your LARP detectors should be firing off when people talk about my system. They're probably full of shit. On God. I always tell people to trade because they're passionate about it, not to do it with money in mind. You play sports and games because you love them, and you naturally get better with time and passion. For sure. I do still kind of believe in the like motivational aspect of it, right? Like if I'm gonna dedicate my life to a game or sport or something like that, it's because I want to fucking be better than everybody else. So yeah, it's the whole process-oriented mindset, right? You want to be process-oriented and not goal-oriented, right? If the only thing you care about is the goal of money or the achievement, then your chances of success are much lower versus being somebody that is focused on the process of getting there. Do you think the U.S. elections will move markets? Probably, bro. Could I speculate as to how? No fucking shot. What do you think about ATC being a big booty coin? Goku, are you in the Paragon? Because somebody asked me that last night in the Paragon. I don't really do the big booty coin pattern on older charts. It's generally something I really only look at for new charts, new coins. But I mean, I guess the logic works the same. Do you believe in Hyperbitcoinization? Honestly, that word seems so retarded. I don't even know what is the proper definition of hyperbitcoinization. Is that Bitcoin replaces fiat currencies and stuff? Fuck no, that's not going to happen. No shot, in my opinion. Is Bitcoin going to keep growing and be this like super large asset? And yeah. Is it going to be a currency ever or replace fiat? Fuck no. It will continue to be a larger and larger asset though, for sure. Do you think pair trading is possible discretionarily? Yeah, it is. I actually know a couple people that trade that way from a discretion standpoint. That's me in the Paragon. Okay, dude. It's hard. People have different names on different platforms and shit. Shorts getting kicked in the balls? I don't know about all that, but I'm down to watch him get kicked in the balls for sure. I'm not going to speculate on political stuff, guys. It's not... I genuinely don't care about politics. I think that people that, like, if you like politics for memeing and stuff, that's fine, right? Because I'm all about memeing and shitposting. It's a fun way to live your life. But I don't I think I would say that basically anybody that dedicates their lives to politics is probably, they're like choosing to be a pawn in a larger game. Why would you ever do that? Hey, Mag, is there a difference in going to the range mid from here versus sweeping 60K? That's an interesting question. That we don't have the kind of market where we need to sweep points anymore, right? So my plan was to sweep, and there's no reason why we have to. So if we bounce from here and come back up to the mid range, it's not like a bearish thing, right? So like a lot of people will probably tell you like, oh, we left the lows unswept, and if we're up here, that's bearish. It increased the likelihood of us coming back. That's not true in my opinion. We don't exist in that kind of market where it's like very predatory and every low or high needs to get swept and cleaned up, and oh, the stops didn't get taken, so we're gonna go back, right? So to answer your question, I don't think that it needs to sweep the lows in order to be healthy. We could come back to the mid-range and come back up to the range high without sweeping these lows and be totally fine. People are caught up on the old days of the predatory price action that we used to have. We've grown and matured from that a lot. We don't need to sweep. It would just be a trigger for me is all, right? The reason why I'm saying that isn't because I think it needs to happen or anything, but it's just because if it happens, it would be a reason for me to potentially, I'll probably send some trades if that happened, to be honest. That's why I say that. The repairman. Yeah, the repairman meme, like, that shit's dumb. Straight up. Making a mockery of the auction market theory and people's lack of ability to evolve as the market evolves, right? The market matures and evolves over time. You must do the same or you get left behind. All right, we could maybe do some altcoin stuff. I'm not going to ramble too long on this stuff. You can go ahead and look at my watch list of what I think is actually good. I'm just going to look at what you guys want me to look at today instead of doing my own rundown like I normally would, just because I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here in like 20 minutes. So first one that I saw that we can look at, because I'm honestly curious on my own, is Wormhole. Holy fuck. Yeah, Wormhole. Okay, so basically for the new homies, any of these newer coins, they pretty much all follow the same schematic. They have listing pumps, and then they get sold into for the people that got airdrops or whatever, and then you're waiting for them to round out and form the big booty bottom, right? So would I bet on this being the low? No, right? Because what it's probably going to do is it's probably going to continue to sweep lows, and you're looking for downside momentum to get lost and looking for this to start to round out. Once Wormhole starts to round out, though, it's going to be a good bet, because like basically any Solana ecosystem coin I think is something that makes a lot of sense to bet on. So I would be very cautious about positioning on something like this early, because it's not going to go that well for you most of the time if you're early. But if you can be patient and be okay with being late to it rather than trying to be early, then it could do really well. So I think that Wormhole, or even like, do I still have my tensor drawing? Yeah. So I drew this over here, and I'm hoping that this is going to play out. My dog shit drawing. I think that this is probably how a lot of these coins will play out. So being long on the Solana ecosystem coins is very reminiscent to me of DeFi winter, is how it feels to me. So I'm going to want to be getting long on these kind of coins eventually. Long via spot. Solana, yeah, so I'm still super bullish on Solana. It's not, Jesus Christ, I mean, these things are just, they look cooked for sure. The bottoming process on something that like got obliterated like this is going to be one that takes a while for sure. So I mean, for me, I'm just round tripping P&L on my portfolio, so it's not like the end of the world. It's not like I'm getting put underwater. I actually did add the Solana, Bitcoin, and Doge the other day. I added the DUSK and I started ONDO on the big Nuke. But yeah, I mean, as far as Solana goes, we want to see the yearly hold. So we want to see where it's at, hold the support. Then we want to see it start to reclaim the levels and move its way back up. But I mean, I'm very optimistic about Solana and the Solana ecosystem, you know, as a whole. And I think that Solana is like your safe bet of the cycle. It's what ETH was in the previous 2 cycles. ENA got cooked. So this has got a pretty interesting dynamic right now. It's probably going to enter into the big booty pattern, I would imagine. So it's probably going to keep getting sold and then keep driving down and eventually round out. And it probably rounds out somewhere around here. Maybe it has like a, you know, a kind of deviation sweep of that. So I wouldn't be optimistic or you know, long on this by any means, but it probably does this. And then once that downside momentum is lost, something like this will yeet. I don't even know the fundamentals behind ENA because I kind of just ignored when I was getting shilled on it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good play. Later, Reg. METIS. I'm probably about to bully your coin. For real. Jesus. There you go. Holy fuck. Yeah, you don't want to be optimistic on this. So a lot of altcoins, probably 95+% of altcoins have broken their uptrends. So anything that looks like this is cooked. If you're in this, you're praying for it to do a dead cat bounce to sell into. This looks very, very not good, if I'm being honest with you. SNX is probably going to be in the same boat. SNX is probably lights out. Yeah, SNX is looking lights out for sure. These kind of things, you're praying for them to dead cat. AVAX. AVAX probably doesn't look as terrible as these other 2 coins, but it probably doesn't look good either. Yeah, it doesn't look good. I mean, I haven't had any reason to be optimistic on Avalanche personally because I just believe in Solana more. Every metric that you can look at, Solana's just doing better than Avalanche, right? So the only purpose of trading Avalanche, in my opinion, is if Solana ever does a big leg up, then you look to play the laggard trade on Avalanche because it will just follow Solana. That's the only real use case for trading this one, in my opinion. I haven't taken any Avalanche trades in a very long time. I just think it's a much worse ecosystem than Solana. Near the fucking Giga Shield coin right now. Yeah, Near doesn't look bad. I said this on my Outlook in the group on Sunday. Near definitely doesn't look bad. Near is maintaining its structure, its bull structuring. So I think that Near basically looks just like Solana did. I think that it looks fine though. Prime, yeah. Yeah, Prime looks pretty good still. The structuring on the trend is still pretty healthy. I like that this coin can benefit from both AI and GameFi. It's obviously AI that's carrying it up right now for the time being, but yeah, it doesn't look terrible by any means. You're just waiting for this thing to like actually build out a base, and then it will probably continue trending up again. Lever. I think that Lever is going to be a cooked coin. I looked at this the other day. I'm pretty sure it was dead. Doesn't look as bad as I expected it to look. But, I mean, because technically the yearly trend is still okay. I don't know. I personally I would not trade this, personally. Doge, of course. My baby. They decimated my baby. Overall, it got beat down pretty hard. I will not lie to you, right? It looks okay though. I'm not gonna lie. This isn't just me coping. I have so much conviction in Doge long term that it's like a very good play to allocate to. So I personally am not that worried. The yearly structuring still looks good. So basically, if it starts to lose like 12 cents, then I would be pretty worried. I'm still above water on this thing right now. I did round trip like I was up a lot. And I'm barely above water now. I'm like 15-20% up right now when I was 70%. So it kind of sucks, but yeah, I mean, I still have the conviction that this is going to trade higher. I think that people will regret not buying this. People are too focused on random Solana 1 million market cap shitters, and they're not caring about the OGs. I'm scared to look at this ticker, but I've seen it spammed a million times, so we'll look at it. Bro. Oh, there you go. It looks like fucking dog shit, dude. I would, yeah, I mean, really ask that we don't. Yeah, dude, it's the same guy saying it every time. I did figure out that I can ban people from my YouTube streams, so honestly, that's going to be a rule moving forward. Well, I hate doing the altcoins stuff with you guys anyways. I just do it because I'm trying to be nice. But if you come in the chat and you spam the same ticker over and over again, we're going to start banning people for that shit. So I haven't given a warning, so we're not going to, start taking action immediately, but I'm gonna start to be not nice about that shit. ONDO, I really like ONDO, so I bought ONDO on the dip the other day. I really regretted having not taken a position on ONDO earlier on, but I did go ahead and yeet spot on this big nuke that we had the other day. So I think that ONDO is a no-brainer play. Same kind of thing with DUSK. I bought a bunch of DUSK up here, which was a really stupid play, but I bought it. I averaged down on it a lot the other day, and I bought a fuck ton at support. So DUSK and ONDO are going to be my two RWA plays. I think that they're relatively safe plays. Solana pumping? Alright. EGLD. I haven't looked at that in a while. It looks fucking dead, bruv. Not gonna lie. I mean, this coin's cooked. Big cooked. XVG. You really want me to look at Verge? It's a cartel coin? Well, the cartel is... I think that they're probably done playing with this coin. This looks cooked. Even if we go and look at a different pair. It doesn't look as bad on spot, but I mean, yeah, I don't trade things that look like this. This is clearly a low liquidity scam coin. INJ, I'm probably about to bully INJ. I think it looks like shit. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, INJ... This is how I always say it. I loved INJ in 2023. It was one of the coins I traded the most last year. And this year, though, I mean, it's got no reason to be traded anymore. I mean, things that look like this, it's just, yeah, it's not good. The trend is just dead on this thing. Later, Troy. Thoughts on Sui? I think that Sui probably is not looking good right now. We'll see. It could be worse. Sui needs to make some progress and make a reclaim. I think that Sui has some fundamental stuff going for it. Overall, though, it really doesn't look that great. So yeah, I mean, I personally, right, like on the if you didn't buy on the nuke, you don't want to be buying it now. You want to wait for it to make a very obvious base that you can structure off of. But yeah, I mean, it's not the worst looking coin for sure, but it's not the best either. I skipped PENDLE, yeah. So I actually really like PENDLE. This coin's hard for me because I bought this thing and sold it way too early. But I mean, yeah, this thing is a Giga Chad coin, and it falls into the RWA category. So I think this is a really good play. XRP. I'll look at XRP for you for the lulz. There's really no reason to be trading these boomer ass coins. Yeah, it's fucking cooked. There's no momentum. Flood says alt season's canceled. I don't give a shit what Flood says. Also, I mean, alt season doesn't exist anymore anyways, guys. When Bitcoin's going up, it's always alt season if you know how to fucking sort strong coins, right? I mean, there's out of the let's say there's 100 altcoins that exist, which we obviously know it's much more than that, but let's just say for theoretical arguments that there's 100 altcoins. Well, 5 to 10 of them are going to be good coins that go up a lot, and the rest are going to be dog shit. So that's the stage that we're at. So I mean, saying alt season's canceled is fucking stupid in my opinion. Thanks for the stream. I'll have a 15-minute break from work for your stream. You can always watch the VOD back. Last question, what do you think about the GCR tweet? I mean, he's probably going to be right. I mean, I took that as an opportunity to start a couple new... I started a new position and I added to some of my core positions as well on that nuke. People that are flaming him right now because the market's down are probably mostly trolling, or they're really stupid, right? They're either engagement baiting for fun, and then they're probably smart people just like fucking around for fun. If they actually are flaming GCR for that, then they're probably dumb. Because I do think that his idea is going to end up being correct. That you want to be, whenever people are getting forced out of the market like that on huge nukes, those are the most opportune times to ever position in a trend. So I still have conviction that we're going to trade up a lot higher this year. So I think that he's going to end up being right. I'm not trying to be a fucking GCR dick rider either, too, because that shit is really, really cringe. I mean, the way that people slurp on his balls is just wild to me. I get it. He's a fucking rich guy. He's made some good calls. But be your own fucking man. Blepe USDT. I got in DUSK at 0.3. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I bought some there with you. Is INJ a good spot long term? No. I mean, it doesn't have an uptrend anymore, so I would say no. Most alts have pretty bearish market structure now, guys. So I would be very careful with just yeeting at random alts. You want to be only trading strong alts. Would you cut slash hedge slash cut ONDO if it goes below 0.6? Yeah, I mean, if it goes below 0.6, I would be underwater on it. Because I got decent entries on this thing. Would I hedge it? Probably not. I'd probably just abandon it. I really don't think that that's that high of a probability, though. Ban whoever said Verge. People seem to be stone retarded at selecting alts. For sure. It's wild to me. I've tried my best to pass on this knowledge. I obviously make a much more serious effort in the Paragon group than I do on the streams and stuff, but I do make an effort in general. You guys gotta be fucking selective about your alts. Look for things that actually are in uptrends and buy them on pullbacks. You guys keep trying to buy things that are trending down, thinking that you're gonna buy the bottom on it. And the reality is that you're not smart enough to do that. And like, you know, it's not like I'm trying to flame you. I'm not smart enough to fucking time the bottom on altcoins. I can kind of do that shit with Bitcoin, but with altcoins, nah. So I just don't try to be smart and overcomplicate things. I just buy things that are going up, because what things that are going up are going to keep going up. It's that simple. Render. I think render is looking cooked right now. It doesn't look that bad, actually. I mean, I like the AI narrative. I have zero exposure to AI. Most of my positioning that's not in large cap stuff is in memes and in RWA right now. I think the AI plays will make sense. I think that render probably needs to chop it up and build a base, but it looks similar to like Doge and a lot of, or not, yeah, it looks similar to like Doge and Solana and a lot of these other coins that are doing yearly VWAP retests, so it doesn't look terrible. For a mid six-figure portfolio, how many altcoins would you be holding, or should we be holding? It's pretty hard for me to answer that, dude, if I'm being honest. It's, you know, you should just break it up in terms of percentage, right? Not in terms of how many coins you should be holding. You should have a larger portion of your portfolio in safe plays, and then a smaller section of your portfolio in riskier plays. And the number of coins you should be holding isn't really what you should be thinking about. Probably more so just like percentage allocation is the best way to think about it. So, you know, I probably have, you know, 60 to 70% of my stuff in really safe things. Then I have, you know, a little bit in risky things. And then I have, and when I say risky things, I just mean meme coins. And then I still have some equities exposure, and I still have some cash on the sidelines still. FET. Yeah, I mean, I like FET just like I like render. It's the same exact play, same exact kind of structuring. So, I mean, the AI, these are the two AI coins I like the most. So basically, you know, like I like ONDO and DUSK as my RWA. FET and render are my AI plays that I would probably be making. And no, none of these are going to be the best performers in the sense that something else in their sector will go up more than they will, but when you are weighting them based on how risky they are, that's when they become good. I think that they will go up a reasonable amount, and then they're not super high risk as well. Beam. It's kind of in the middle. I mean, the like overall trend is still up, kind of, but I mean, it's using its yearly as resistance right now. I don't know. I mean, I'm not interested in gamify stuff in general, so it really is that simple for me. Thanks, Uzi. Appreciate you. Thanks for taking the time to reply. No problem, dude. I'm just going to rebrand to Magus, honestly. Who's GCR? Just big trader from last cycle that became pretty famous for calling the top. So I'm obviously going to show myself and say I fucking sold the top too, so it really doesn't make you that special. I sold the Pico top and bought the pretty near bottom. APTOS. Ooh, she got cooked. Damn, I mean, yeah, it's not good, not good. This is gonna do like a bear retest is what it looks like. This thing got fucking clapped up. Magus' choice of language is hilarious. Yeah, I'm retardio. Didn't GCR trade his way from 1K to $1 billion? I don't think that that's true. Definitely not true. It's over for you, fucking. Yo, Lear, I need you to clip that fucking thing from Nikki right now, and we're gonna use that to blackmail him forever. It's over for Nikki. I don't like. I'm pretty sure that I don't like looking at this coin and I'm gonna bully it, but because you're Finn and you're asking, oh shit, okay, that does not look as bad as I thought. All right, plus 5 points for Finn. This actually looks pretty fucking good. I don't know what the hell this thing is, but I'm not gonna lie, the trend structuring still looks pretty good. So, she's holding up nicely. That's all I got to say about that one, to be honest. It looks good. I mean, I don't hate this one the way that I hated most of the other coins that we've done today. CT says GCR went from $10 to $10 billion. I believe it. Yeah, exactly. Ocean. I don't know. I think I like FET and Render more for the AI plays than Ocean. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look great either, though. I mean, I don't like the way that it lost its yearly like that. Examples of safe plays: Bitcoin, Solana, Doge. That's my core. The core of my portfolio is that right there. I would consider those all to be safe. Obviously, Doge is going to be the highest risk out of them, but Doge is my main meme coin play. I own like 7 or 8 different meme coins with like legitimate exposure, but Doge is the largest by far. But when I say safe exposure, Bitcoin and Solana are your safe plays for the cycle. I think that Doge holds a place in that conversation as well. Have you looked at Tia? I'm about to body your coin, bro. 100%. The fuck? Yes, I'm sure it's bouncing right now. Okay, yeah, it's bouncing good, but this thing has bear structuring, right? You know, lost its momentum. Bear drive, you know, bear drive, right? I mean, so it's just going to do that again, is what I would guess, right? It's just going to keep rejecting off the bear trend. So, yeah, I mean, the only saving grace is that it's bouncing, it's, you know, trading off of its anchored right now from the start of the launch. But, I mean, overall, like, this thing, yeah, I've been bullying it for a while. I don't like things, you know, I'm happy for you that it's trading up today, and it will probably continue to bounce, but its trend structuring is trash. So just a heads up, Fetch AI or Fetch Ocean and AGIX are going to merge. If that's officially official. I've seen that more than once. I didn't know if it was official or not. That's cool. That's actually, like, we kind of like that, you know, because that just makes things more simple. I already liked FET, so if it's going to merge with those other projects, then that's good. I have no idea what this OM thing is, bro. I'm not going to lie. But the fucking coin looks good. I don't know what this is, but who said this? Simple break, dude? Yeah, it looks good, dude. That's all I got to say. I already looked at Phantom. Phantom looks good. Thoughts on Whiff? It looks all right. That's all I got to say. I mean, I think that it will probably do well. Interesting that Pepe. Yeah, I mean, I own a basket. I own all these things. So I own every single large cap meme I own. So I mean, I'm about the memes. BNB. I'm not gonna look at it on the Bitcoin pair, but I will look it on the USDT pair, because I think BNB. I actually dragged it up on my list this week. I think BNB looks pretty fucking good overall. The trend structuring looks really healthy. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. I went longer than I intended to. Yeah, official just saw it on Fetch's Twitter. That's cool. I like that, honestly, because I liked Fet. It's not one that that I have any exposure to at the moment. I took a lot of Fet trades at the beginning of the year. OM is RWA. Oh, that's cool. When do you plan to add to DUSK? I don't. I just did. I bought heavy on DUSK on Saturday. I bought heavy on this turbo nuke. So I'm not gonna add to DUSK anytime soon. I'm happy with my DUSK exposure now. Does the yearly anchored VWAP have more significance than the yearly progression has more data? I don't know what you mean by yearly anchored, right? Because the anchored isn't necessarily time-based. Just the reason why I use the anchored is because a lot of these coins, they get listed at random times, so they're not going to have a time-based VWAP that starts printing, because if it gets listed in the middle of January or in February or something, it's not, the yearly's not going to print on it ever, right? Because the yearly didn't start. So Bahamas, if you could reword your question for me, I could maybe try to answer it a little better. Does the yearly anchored VWAP have more significance as the year progresses? Oh, I mean, like, yes, right? Like, yeah, to answer your question about time, right? The more time a VWAP has under its belt, the more significant it's going to be, right? A yearly VWAP in the first 2 months doesn't really mean as much as a yearly VWAP when it has like 10 months, right? I think that's how you want to view that probably. Can you take a look at Up Dog? Yeah, you can take a look at Suck My Dog. Thanks for doing what you do. No problem, Martin. All right, my friends. That's going to be it for me here today. Hopefully we enjoyed ourselves. Hopefully we learned something on this day of days. I think I'm going to fuck around as time goes on with maybe doing some slightly different kind of trend structure, or not like trend structuring, like stream structuring, or maybe I do, you know, just more chat, you know? I like the chatting. I like having banter and talking shit with the boys. The chart stuff is so boring for me. I do it because I'm trying to help. Magus too advanced of a shit poster. That's one of the things, like, being a part of CT for as long as I have has made me so much better at the shit posting stuff. It's just how it is. Put CS2 on the side. Do the dual CS and crypto stream. You guys don't want to see me play CS. I'll strike fear into you. Never expected a boomer could fucking shoot like me. Chart while you dunk on some noobs. Prefer the chat over the charts. I love to hear that, honestly. That's the direction I want to move more and more with the streams, is more in the direction of chatting and whatnot. It's more fun for me. I still think I can drop some knowledge that way. Just a different type of knowledge. We like the banter. Yes. Yes, we do. Are we all going to watch BTC Charlie stream next? I don't know. Probably not. That guy's kind of lame. He's lame and old. All right, my friends. That's it for me. I'll see you around soon. Good luck out there. Stay safe.